Good day, everybody. Welcome back. This is Blackheart6 again. We're going to do a new video. There was a request on the Discord about how to add a vehicle depot to the scenario framework. I've done a video in the past on this, but I want to update this and show you a little different method in which I achieve what I'm trying to do here. What you see here is and this is in 1.3, but it should be the same for 1.2. If you're still working in that, you shouldn't see any difference. So what I've done is created our standard. I'm going to work within the scenario framework. So we have an area layer slot, and on that slot I have put the vehicle maintenance small US. Okay, so let's now I'm going to play from camera position, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play from a spawn point because there is a difference when you play from a spawn point. It completes that whole initialization sequence versus playing from camera position. I have noticed some differences there, so I just want to make sure we do it right. This is how you're going to operate anyway, so you need to play from a spawn position. You can test, from a camera position, down and dirty stuff, but it's better if you do it from a spawn point. Okay, so we have a spawn point over here. This is going to take a little longer because I got this timer set up on it. All right, and then we're going to go over here. Beautiful day in Everon, as you can see. Okay, so when you put down this, hierarchy of area layer slot and you make it a depot, you go like this, you get nothing. Okay, it doesn't seem to function correctly. All right, and the reason is because you're missing some components that need to be in place for these depots to work. And so I'm going to show you what those components are and a shortcut to modifying them quickly. Okay, so we got our depot. Now, what components, you have to add them to your game mode. Okay, so there's some components missing here. Now, how did I figure out what components were missing? I mean, there's a lot of components. You go to add components, you got a list, a ton of them, right? So this just kind of helps with the thought process. You can use this different areas. So you have the game mode SF, and the depots work in campaign mode, but they don't work in SF. So I figured that, well, let's look at game mode campaign and compare it to what is in game mode SF. And you can see that there's significant difference right off the bat just by flipping through the two. So the next thing I did was I looked at game mode campaign and said, well, what has to deal with these depots? What are the most highly probable components? So I looked through all these and I did a comparison. I made a screenshot of this and a screenshot of the SF and ticked off the ones that were not there in SF. And I found that campaign building manager component and composition slot manager component are two that are missing out of here and impact this. So what you have to do is add those two components to your game mode. So the composition slot is nothing more than a checkbox, but the campaign building is a complicated one that has a lot of components to it. You can see you've got 61 outlines that you have to add. So let's do the composition slot first. That's the easy one. So all you have to do is go to your game mode, click on a component, and go composition slot. And it is it manager? I think it's manager. Let's go back and look. Yeah, it's manager. Okay, so that's one, and that's an easy one. Now, the campaign one, campaign building manager, like I said, that's a complicated one. If you go in and add it, you can see it's empty. There's nothing here. So you can set this up based on what's here, but that is an awful lot of work that you have to manually do. You've got to open up, as you can see, add all the outlines for the free roam building to this, and then the editable entity that goes with it. That would take you a very long time to do. So what I did was I created a folder. It has to be unlocked. So you can use any one of these folders because they're unlocked. But what I did was I created a special folder and called it, what did I call it? Components copied. And then I changed that directory. And what I did is I go to my campaign build node and I drag and drop that component into here, and then you can add a name to it. And you don't have to call it the exact same thing. It can be build manager component. All right. So what you want to do next is you want to get rid of this campaign mode. You don't want to keep that in there because you cannot have two game modes in the same world. So delete it. And then go to your game mode, and you can see I've got it right here. I've added it. So we want to delete that out. You don't want it in there. You want to drag and drop that component into your base game mode so it gets nested in there, and it's right here. And as you can see now, it has all the information in it. Okay, so you don't have to do this manually. All right, do not delete this though after you're done, because if you delete this, it's pointing to these, or these are pointing to this, it will go away. All right, and you can't just go right click copy. It doesn't work that way. It won't copy everything over, and you still have to do a lot of manual configuration. Okay, so that should work. All right, the next thing I do is after I do all this, I hit Shift R. Make sure you reload the gaming scripts when you do this work, because if it doesn't update, you could get some errors in it. All right, so let's hit play again. And let's see what we get. There you go. Okay. Close this out. No errors. Everything works. Looks good. Okay. That's how you do it, folks. And this works on all the depots, as far as I know. Give you the ability to spawn in which one. Okay. Ooh, what's this? Steam continuous branches stable. I don't think this has anything to do with us. Okay, let's abort. Let's close down. Ooh, that locked up my stuff. Crash reporter. Let's send that over. So I just got a crash report. Not unusual. Let's relaunch and test this. Make sure that we're not causing some kind of problem. Remember, this is experimental, so. Okay, let's adjust our windows here. We'll see what goes on. Let's see if we get another crash. Let's try to recreate this error. So everything seems to be working here. Let's check our log. All right, can't load mask, image set. It doesn't look like anything, out of the ordinary. It's typical log file, a bunch of errors in there. So I think we're okay. I think it's when you're switching out of play mode to editor mode is when it gives you this error. So I don't think it's related to this. Yeah. See, that worked fine that time. Okay. All right, just wanted to test that, make sure we weren't doing something bad there. Just a glitch. All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.